It's time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show live on WBON TV and on radio at WEKY, WKXO, and WIRV. Support your favorite team with apparel from Campus Warehouse and join us here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Also brought to you by Bishop Small Engine Repair and Nuevo Vallarta. And now let's go live to your host, Michael Watkins and Samantha Burford.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show live once again at Jack Burford Chevrolet. Samantha Burford, Michael Watkins here with you on another outstanding night. Samantha, we've had a lot of EKU talk over the last month or so. Obviously, them entering the ASUN. We've had Coach Hamilton. Coach Todd was on with us when he first took the job. Now we've got our attention turned to EKU football with head coach Walt Wells here with us. And, Coach, we're 47 days away from kickoff?
I know it was 50 a couple days ago. I've lost track of it, but I know it's coming around soon. I was just at a dinner with the players and just told them, hey, we got 2 weeks left of workouts in this summer. You're going to have about 3 days off. And then it's time to report and get after it. So it's getting close. Yeah, and we're ready. We're fired up. I know our coaching staff, we just got back in the office off vacations, and it's good to see everybody. Everybody's a little relaxed, you know.
Refreshed.
Motivated.
Motivated. And it really does. It's good to get away from the office because, you know, for me, I got a list of things that I got to go over in my staff meeting today, which they probably weren't fired up about. But for them, it's things that they get to do, you know, thinking about recruiting, how they're going to handle some things this year. You know, obviously their position or their side of the ball and what they want to accomplish there other than just the norm that we have already set in our program. So it's always good to get away, see family, see different friends, different things like that. But it's football time.
You know, one thing I wanted to add, and I've asked everybody this, you know, that I've talked to that's involved with EKU athletics, is the move to the ASUN and the momentum that I feel like the university has right now. It feels like everybody is jacked up, everybody is ready to go. So what have you seen being a part of this transition into the new conference?
Well, I think the most important thing is that I feel like, you know, I've been here 3 different times. And so I feel like this time, I think everybody's in alignment, you know, from the top all the way from the, you know, the AD to the president to the chairman of the Board of Regents and the Board of Regents to everybody's in alignment with what they're trying to do with not just football, not just 1 or 2 aspects, but with the whole athletic program. And I feel really confident that, you know, in the direction that we're going. I've been fortunate to be around some good programs and been involved in some different things, conference changes, conference realignment, moving up, moving different ways. And, you know, I feel like we're going right in the same direction that a lot of those successful programs that I've been a part of have been.
Coach, you've got some transfers, 9. Tell us about that transfer portal and how that's affected you and what's going to happen this season.
Well, you know, the portal is what it is. I mean, we can sit here and gripe about it and complain about it, and there's some things I don't like about it. I mean, I'd be crazy not to say that. But the advantage that we do have is, you know, if there's young men that aren't happy at our place or feel like they need to go somewhere else, or, you know, we had one young man that just wanted to graduated, been here, you know, 4 years, wanted to go experience something else and get his degree, you know, his second degree or his master's degree from somewhere else. So, you know, I think you find out in that portal how many of those guys are out there that fit your program. Yeah. We got, you know, we've got a total of 9 coming in right now, but we've also got some more that were here in January. So we feel really good about where we're at. Those guys that were here went through spring ball. They're competing for jobs. Some of them come out of spring really, you know, competing hard for jobs, and then the guys we brought in that have been here all summer working out, doing what we can do with them. We start some position specific stuff tomorrow, so we'll be involved with them there and get a little look-see at them that way. But excited about the depth we've added at the defensive line position. I'm talking about through this summer, the you know, running back that we brought in from Purdue, and I feel like, you know, some of the other positions that we've added on. We've had some specialty positions that are key: kicker, long snapper. I mean, you know, people forget about them until it's too late. That's right.
Yeah, until you're called upon.
That's right. So really pleased with how our coaches approached that and the process we had. You know, I think it is all led by Eric Losey, our recruiting coordinator, who's our offensive line coach, but then Gary McPeak, who is also involved in our off the field, who is involved in a lot of our recruitment, has done a great job. And then we added a young lady named Taylor West, who's done a really good job. She's more of our on-campus recruiting coordinator. She shows them around. She does different things, photo shoots, all the stuff that they like to do when they come on campus. So we're excited about them. You know, I guess the biggest negative is some of them will be one-year guys. guys. And,
Yeah.
EKU has such a strong tradition with Coach Kidd of guys coming, staying, being here forever, Warren Cleat Club members, all those good things. And these guys will be Warren Cleat Club members, but it's hard to develop that, closeness, oneness with the whole community as it is when you're just here 1, maybe 2 years. But
Well, I
that's
think
part of it.
with the transfer portal, I feel like that's where we're moving now because we've seen it, especially, when you're here in Kentucky, and obviously you coached at Kentucky, that's the school that everybody talks about, and we know what it's been like with Kentucky basketball. So talk about what you have seen with this transfer portal and what you've had to do differently this year with, so many people entering it and coming out of it.
Well, I think the first thing you notice is how many are left over.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the NCAA is going to have to make a decision because you've got young men making decisions and young women, whoever, in what sport. But in football, you got young men making decisions that may not be educated decisions. And so they go into the portal, they're in the portal, they're giving up full scholarships, they're going to go bet on themselves, or they're unhappy, and they think they can get, something better, and it just doesn't work out sometimes. And, I think these guys have got to get educated on, and that's our job as coaches too, but I think it comes from the NCAA and from conference affiliations that they have to teach these guys what's going on, that the grass ain't always greener sometimes.
Yeah.
For us, we're hoping it's greener for everybody that comes into our program, obviously, and just like we don't wish any ill will on anybody that left, but it's it's just hard to develop that and continuity and consistency, and sometimes you have to wait to get to what you want. And some people, in today's world, we don't want to wait for nothing.
Oh yeah, it's all immediate.
Yeah, we want to come right in here and buy a truck and say, I got this, I want it right now, and walk out the door in 5 minutes, and it doesn't happen that way. I mean, but we can go buy one in a big machine and it drop down and all that, right? All that's cool, but it teaches us not to be patient, and we're probably maybe not getting the best deal we want when we do that,
right,
or the service that we want when something goes wrong. So I think that's just part of our culture in America right now, and we got to continue to grow with it. I think the NCAA will come up with something new in 2 to 3 years and figure it out, but it's crazy right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think, again, you talked about it. It's just the age that we're in right now with everything is the social media world. And you can find something about somebody just like that online. So I feel like that's where we are right now. Everything is at our fingertips, and we want it to stay that way. Even if you go to a restaurant, I feel like if you have to wait longer than 10 or 15 minutes now, it's just like, well, where's my food at kind of thing.
Right.
It's just we're not used to waiting anymore.
It's our tablets, it's our phones.
It's a microwave world.
Response.
That's
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
I mean, it is, it's sad, but that's how it is. My kids are raising, growing up that way, and we've all adapted to that.
Yeah.
And whether it's right or wrong, I mean, it's what it is. And it's not, I'm not saying it's hurting anybody, but it's changing how things happen. And with this portal, we've got to educate these young men that, and we try to do the best we can, but sometimes when somebody's determined, I liken it to like when you break up with your girlfriend. When you get the courage to walk in there and say, hey, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
It's over. It's never going to be the same.
Right.
It's hard for it to be the same. So, when they get the courage to come into my office and tell me they're leaving, or, I'm not saying that it takes a lot of courage to do that, but when they do that, it's hard. The relationship's now got a break in it, and we got to continue to try to repair that and do a great job. And, the most important thing is we got to recruit our own players.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Coach, let's go back to last fall. You guys were able to get all 9 games in a normal fall scheduled regular season amongst COVID. So tell us how that's affected your spring ball, how you were able to condition and recover, and how it's going to help you guys in this fall.
Well, I think for us, playing in the spring was a hard decision not to do. But I think it was the right decision. And I don't know when that decision will pay off, but for us, we got 9 games in. I got to, because we didn't have spring ball.
Yeah.
So I got to evaluate our whole team in 9 games. And we played some really strong teams. And so I got to see who wanted to be here, who wanted to be part of it, who didn't. Because in COVID, you could opt out and still get your scholarship.
Yep.
So we had 14 young men opt out that were either starters or key contributors from last season. So what it did was it grew our team up. And we had to play an awful lot of young people, which is fine. I think they saw that they could play at a top level when we beat a team like UCA, and I'm not sitting here, but it hadn't been done since 2003 around here.
Yeah.
And so, it gave them like, oh, hang on a second. I can, I'm a young guy. I can compete at this level. Now, we got to teach them how to do it every weekend, week in and out, and things like that. So then we turn around and we come back, and everything's normal for us. Now, we still got protocols, and we still got testing and all that, but it was normal. We came in, we worked out for, I think it was 6-7 weeks. Then we went into spring ball for 4 weeks, and then we went into summer, had a little time off in May. And then we come back and we're in summer conditioning for 8 weeks. And everything for us is normal. Talking to some of the guys that around the country that played in the spring, they didn't come back until after July 4th.
Yeah.
And they're just now getting in their first. So they've missed all that. And see, all that beating that you take during a season, all that, you usually have winter to recover from that.
Yeah.
And you don't have that right now. So I think, I may be totally wrong, and I may miss the boat on this, but I think everybody that played in the fall, now talent will take over sometimes, I get that.
Yeah.
But everybody that played in the spring, is going to have their issues coming in October and November when the body, the mind of these young men aren't as rested as they need to be.
Well, what was the biggest challenge last year with COVID? Obviously, I mean, you guys still played the season. I know there was a lot of challenges, but what was the biggest one that you just seemed to maybe have the biggest trying to overcome?
Well, besides all the protocol that you got to continue. I mean, you're asking 18 to 22-year-olds to follow protocol.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't follow a lot of rules. And so trying to get them to do that, our kids did a really good job of that because we only had one game where we were kind of penalized, and that was the Stephen F. Austin game. We lost some really good players through contact tracing in that game. But, I think they did a heck of a job of doing that. The problem is you've got, now you've got vaccine, right? All right, everybody needs to be vaccinated. I get all that, but not everybody wants to be vaccinated.
Exactly.
And I'm not here to tell you whether or not you can or cannot be vaccinated, but there's going to be some ramifications that come from not being vaccinated. So there's all kinds of things that are still going on with this stuff. But the biggest challenge for me was we didn't have spring ball. We didn't do anything together as a team until really, we did a little bit in February, till June the 14th.
Yeah.
And that's when everybody was still shutting everything down, questioning or not whether or not Big Ten comes out says they're not playing. Yeah. Everybody thinks this, that, and the other, and the reality wasn't what it really was. And I was fortunate from my connections from coaching at Tennessee and Kentucky that I knew what the SEC was doing, and let's be honest, they run college football.
They do, yep.
And so when I was talking to the boys at Kentucky, and they were like, yeah, we're playing. I'm like, guys, we're playing. Yeah. Just believe me.
Yeah.
If the team 20 minutes up north plays, then nobody can tell us we can't play. And so let's play. And, thank God our president and our AD and our chairman of the Board of Regents were all on board with it. And we went together, and Matt did a great job of putting together a schedule, and I had some connections and helped out with that. And, it just went that way. And so everybody asked me, what's it like? Well, I don't know, because it wasn't a normal year to be a first-time head coach.
Exactly.
True.
So I don't really know what it, that's what I know, chaos. And so for me, it's probably the best thing that ever happened to me in the back end, because I had to learn to adapt, to deal with problems, to understand that schedules can be thrown out the window. I did my preseason schedule. I made it 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
Starting in January, and then, March, here we go. Oh, no, we're not doing that.
Right.
And then I just quit and said, hey, boys, when we know, we know. And that's how y'all going to have to deal with it. Yeah. And I'm not talking about the players, the coaches.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And I think the success that you guys had last year, you could see that even though there wasn't as many people allowed in the stadium, there was still a lot of buzz surrounding EKU football last year. I remember going out to some of the different locations around town before a game. You couldn't really have the tailgate lot that you normally would have leading up to a game, and just being around it, and they would have their maroon on, like, listen, we're going to listen to it on the radio or watch it on our phones or whatever.
Which was good for us.
Yeah, exactly. But it was so different for everybody. And even the fans aspect of it, for us, we were allowed to come and get highlights or whatever, but we couldn't really get the access that we're normally used to getting. So it was just different for everybody. But I feel like the way you all adapted and made it through the season, and the buzz that surrounded EKU, and to me, the Opportunity Bowl was, I think, the final point that Yes, this was a successful season.
Right.
Is that whenever you finally were able to sit back and realize, man, we did something special here?
You know, you're sitting there and you're thinking, all right, a bowl game, what's it going to be like? You know, no offense, in Richmond, Kentucky. Never had one, never done one. And when our administration started telling me about it in August and we're talking about it, and I'm like, you know, that's going to be a good deal. Because there's going to be teams with all different types of records that are going to go to bowl games. All right, so that's not going to matter. What's going to matter is, are we going to get a chance to play for something? And when I told the kids that we're going to get a chance to play for a ring and for a trophy and this, that, and we got bowl swag for them, and they really did some nice stuff for them, and so it really made it like, all right, here we go. And I think what it taught our players is football's important.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, football, not just at EKU, every sport's important. I get that. But football is also important. And how you respond is important. So you need to go out there and let all these people that put, everything on the line for them and did all this stuff, and worked their tail off to get that opportunity bowl together. Hey, go out there and perform like you need to and win the game.
Yeah.
And we did, and it was successful. And, I mean, you couldn't have told us we didn't just win. It was as joyous as it was when I won the Citrus Bowl or the Belt Bowl or the Music City Bowl or whatever I've been a part of. It was just as joyous in the locker or on the field, really, and then we went into the locker room. But, it meant something to us. And, a lot of people got a lot of things to say about it around the country in recruiting, and I get that. And I just tell them all that, hey, we're worried about you, and we're worried about your health, and we're also going to play football here. So just understand why we did what we did, and, we're back at normal this year, or right now we're back at normal. Yeah. I don't think it's going to. I don't know if it's going to stay that way, but
we're hoping.
Yes, praying.
We're all hoping.
Well, let's take our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue more with Coach, including the schedule, which came out,
let's talk about
and
the
home
schedule.
Games, and some more about the players as well when we come back here live on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Hey, why aren't you watching these 30-second walk-arounds?
And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Kokudet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see you.
Support your favorite team with apparel from Campus Warehouse in Richmond. Whether you're an EKU fan or you're a part of the Big Blue Nation, Campus Warehouse has something for you. Stop by and see their new line of Old Road t-shirts, because guys, we know Saturdays are for the boys. Plus, they have the cutest seasonal tees for the ladies. And Campus Warehouse now carries a new line of tees for the kiddos as well. Visit campuswarehouserichmond.com or stop by their location in the Richmond Center next to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, Michael Watkins, Samantha Burford, talking EKU football with the head coach, Walt Wells. And
it will be here before we know it.
Yeah,
September 4th is the first game, and that is around the corner.
Yeah, about 40-something days, and Coach, I mean, we're moving right along. It's not stopping until we get there, hopefully.
Well,
Western Carolina,
it's
right?
crazy, right? So who we ended with, we turn around and play with a whole new staff and a whole new, really a lot of, they got hit with the portal pretty hard. And so it'll be interesting to see. Of course, they brought some in.
Yeah.
And Kerwin Bell's the new head coach there, and we kind of, everybody knows Kerwin played at Florida and his story there, but the whole deal is I think his son's coming in to run the offense, so that'll be interesting to see who calls the plays, dad or
that could
son.
cause some arguments.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then you got, they hired a guy to be their defensive coordinator and a co-defensive coordinator. Then the co-defensive coordinator already left, so we had to throw the tape we had already done on him out and go to another one. And so, that's the beauty of technology. We were talking before we got on the air is at least we can get that stuff fairly easy now. So that helps us out. But we're excited about going over there and playing them. They'll be fired up. They'll be in their new wide open offense. And I think they're getting, I don't know, if they got something new at their stadium too, maybe.
Okay.
So it's Labor Day weekend. We couldn't find a hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're in the mountains and the streams and all that, and it's packed. So we're staying actually an hour away in Asheville. And then we'll come back to hit Cullowhee in the mountains, which will be a little closer. So that'll be interesting. Then, of course, we ride over I guess it's west, over to Louisville, and got a great opportunity against them, and looking forward to that. Got a lot of buddies on that staff, know a lot of people, know Scott, know Stu Holt, and some other guys over there real well. So, we got some good Louisville kids on our team, Lexington kids, a lot of kids from the state that'll be fired up about going in there.
Yeah.
And they're a really good football team. They got a veteran quarterback, and but hey, it's like I tell everybody all the time. Hey, you ain't got to beat them every time. You just got to beat them on whatever this the 4th. So 7 days later, 11th. Yeah,
right.
So September 11th. So we got to go in there and get after them. And my philosophy has always been I've been fortunate as a player. I had an opportunity to win a game like that, and as a coach, I've had an opportunity to win a couple like that. And, I always talk about just trying to get them to the deep end of the pool in the fourth quarter, and, then we try to finish them out. And so that'll be a challenge for our young men. But, I think, we'll be up for it. It'll be whether or not we are gelling together as a team at that point. So it's early on. And then I think we come home. I know we come home.
Month.
And so we got our first 2 away, and then we'll be home in the middle of September.
Yeah.
And,
September 18th.
A month straight. You got the 18th, and that's against Indiana State. And Austin P. Tarleton, saying that right?
Tarleton State.
Yep. Abilene Christian, and then that's a month straight where you're at home. So a lot of home games there to kind of come back, refresh, and then get some some good games under your belt there.
That Tarleton is the homecoming game.
Yep, that's homecoming
right.
on October the
mark your calendars.
2nd, October the 2nd.
Is that when it
3
is?
p.m.
Okay.
Yes.
So mark your calendars for that. We need a great crowd. The biggest thing we need is we need that support. Our kids are working hard. I get everybody's got a lot of options on Saturdays, and so kudos to again Matt Roan. I don't want it to be a pep rally for Matt, but I mean he does a great job.
Yeah.
And those lights that everybody saw on Twitter the other day and all that. If you hadn't seen them, go follow Matt Roan and see it and look at the lights. But there's only 2 teams in the country that have those.
Oh, now that I did not know.
I didn't either.
Right now, there's only 2 teams in the country that have those. It's Alabama
really cool.
and it's Georgia. And
Wow.
well, actually, let me rephrase that. It's Georgia had them first,
And
then Alabama, and so then us. And now Georgia and Alabama's are probably a little higher grade than ours, but that's okay. Ours are really great grade. I don't want to discount that. And so to be able to have maroon lights, to be able maybe to have pink lights on a breast cancer awareness day, or to be able to do whatever. I mean, red, white, and blue if we want to for veterans.
And every time he scored a touchdown.
Yes.
And I saw him live. I saw him the night that
Did you see him that night?
We were out
driving down the bypass and going, what is happening?
I was in I forget. I was out of town. I won't forget. And we were talking earlier. I worked for Butch Jones at Tennessee, and Butch calls me, right away. He's like, "How the blank did you get that done?" And I'm like, hey, we just get it done around here.
I know people.
And so he, everybody's trying to get that done. Well, it's too late right now because everybody, just like everything we talked about, everything's backed up, this, that, and the other. So people will get them. But for our administration to think outside the box and think of fan experience, along with the new turf that we're going to have, along with the cabin on the hill, with all the fun that we can have. We're going to have a new way we enter the field this year. trying to do different things just to bring the student involvement, the fan involvement, the community involvement. I can't stress how hard these kids work. And for them, I get it. Everybody wants to see a winner, and we got to do our part. I totally understand that and appreciate that. But, you still need to get out and have some fun. Get out in front get away from the TV. Get out in front. Go root your hometown team in. All our coaches live in Richmond now. All our support staff lives in Richmond now, with the football department. And we're trying to embed ourselves in this community. We need the help of our community to come back. Of course, I was here. I get it. Coach Kidd's a legend. He's one of not the greatest of all time football coaches. No. I love the man. He gave me a job and supported me through a lot of times. He's like a father to me because when I came here, I just lost my father. That being said, we need to make our own history as a team, but we also need people to come out and support the team like they did back then, and because that's so important to the kids. And, to be honest with you, I don't notice it. I'll be honest with you, we're in Alabama, I don't notice.
Yeah.
I look around the beginning, oh, yeah, it's nice. Okay, all right, now we got to go. Because I'm trying
to
do a
job.
Plays.
Yeah. You're thinking football.
But they're out there performing.
Right.
They're out there. They need to feel, like what they're doing is important to somebody besides themselves.
Yeah.
And so, I think with other things that are going on with tailgating, we're still waiting to make sure all protocol and
right. I was going to ask you about that. Next.
I've got a lot of ideas that I've shared with them, and I think our team, in the athletic administration, is trying to make it to where it's an experience. We understand it's not just about the football game, but that is the focus. But I just met with our band director for an hour and a half about music and different things and how he wants to incorporate more band stuff. And I'm like, look, I love it when the band's involved. There's certain things that you probably can't play.
Yeah.
I get it, and we're not going to ask you to do that. You're the guy that can tell me what you can play because I got no musical skills other than I love to listen to it, and I think I can sing. But I want to hear it, and I want to hear the band involved because when the band gets involved, they get the students involved, and when the students get involved, they get other people involved, and
bigger crowds.
It becomes an event, and that's what we want it to be. We want Saturdays to be. I know we got Catter Day around here. I've been a part of that, but we want Saturdays to be, Colonel Day down here.
Right.
And, we want everybody, to come see us too.
Right.
And I'll never going to predict what we're going to be because you don't know.
Yeah.
You got no idea what obstacles are going to be put in front of you. But I can promise you this: and our staff is going to recruit at a high level. And we're going to have guys in here that can play the game. And we're going to develop them to play the game. And they're going to play the game hard in the way you expect it to be played. And so, if we do that, then I think we'll have chances on Saturday. And then our schedule is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we got really good teams coming in here that love football from football powerhouse states. And, I'm excited about that. Everybody's like, oh, what are you, nuts? And I'm like, well, maybe I am. I've been accused of that for 53 years. But I don't care. I don't believe in playing a bunch of teams that you should just slaughter. And then what happens is when your team plays down, then your team believes that's who they are. Let's challenge ourselves with the Central Arkansas, with the Sam Houston States, with the, Indiana States, who was last time was in a playoff. Austin Peay last time, we played them, they were in a playoff. Jacksonville State was in a playoff last year. I mean, the list goes on. And I think iron sharpens iron. We have to recruit to be able to beat those teams. Motivates our coaches, right? Motivates me.
Right.
We have to be sharp to coach against these guys that have won national championships and conference championships. And then we have to build it that way to build our brand to where people are like, hang on a second. EKU's coming back.
Yeah.
Because we got history here.
Oh, yeah.
All right. But we can't live off that. That doesn't intimidate anybody anymore. Alabama gets, when you go on the spread and Alabama's playing at home, they get what, 4 points automatically?
Yeah.
Well, the media gives them 7 to 10.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And who they are and what they are. I promise you that. Kids are intimidated when they walk in the door.
Scared to play them.
That's right.
I'd be scared to play them.
Yeah.
And so, they'll say they're not, but they're like, and so you got to deal with that. Well, we don't have that anymore, okay? And that's no disrespect to EKU at all. That's just what's happened over time.
Over time.
And so we're going to build. Our mission is to build that back, but you can't do it by not being challenged. And so we're going to be challenged. And I get where all the ramifications that can come from that. But the one thing I choose to look at the positive. Our kids are going to know who they are, what they are, and how good they are.
Well, you've obviously got it because this schedule, you've got 3 teams that were in the top 15 last year. 2 of them went to playoffs, so it's going to be a great schedule.
Yeah. It's going to. I think if our fans are excited about watching us both on the road, and I know some people aren't going to be able to travel to Texas and all that, maybe,
maybe to Nashville,
but to Nashville and to other places, they're going to be able to do that. But the thing they're going to be able to do is they're going to be able to see it on some kind of form of television.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll excite them when we are at home 4 weeks in a row, that they'll be able to come over. Obviously, they can ride over to Louisville and help us out there. I know it's going to be limited tickets and all that. Wear your maroon.
Not red. No
yeah,
red.
No red. And come over and cheer for us and get it going because, and just stay behind us. Stay behind us because we're proud to be here. We're proud that this is our team, and we're looking forward to putting it out there and seeing where we're at. We got a lot of work to do, just like everybody does, but, it's something that I believe our kids have been working for since about mid-season last year.
Well, before we let you go, we got Mackenzie Neal coming on next, so we'll ask you this before we let you get out of here. Mike Holcomb took over the job here at Madison Central, and I know you and him had a relationship before, so talk about that before we let you go.
Mike's a great guy and a great football coach, but he's a great person. And I got to know Mike when we were actually recruiting Justin Haddix here, and then we both ended up together at Western for 4 years for Justin. I was there for 10 years. So all those years I've gotten to know Mike. My son plays for Mike right now over there. He's on the team. And so, I think Mike's not only just a good coach, X and O, experience, understands some things. And like anything, you learn at the different levels that you go to and things like that. But Mike's one of those guys that he still comes over. Mike went to school here in the early 80s, right? He still, late 70s, early 80s, he still comes over and talks to our coaches about protections or defense or special teams. He's still willing to learn.
Yes.
And I think that's so important that he is trying to figure out what's best for his team.
Yeah.
And he'll do whatever it takes to win now. And that doesn't mean he'll win a state championship or whatever. I don't know. I can't, nobody knows until they know. But he will continue to get better. And then he will he'll be firm on them, he'll be tough on them and all that good stuff. But those kids will end up, if they don't, I'll be shocked. But they'll end up loving Mike Holcomb because of the person he is. Yeah. He is really, really good guy. And I've been fortunate to know him since 2000 and I guess 2.
Yeah.
I probably met him in 97 when I came here, but to be hanging out with him and talking with him a lot and going to clinics and meeting him and spending all night just sitting there on a board, sitting there thinking, hey man, I need to go to bed.
Two football junkies getting together.
How'd you do this? How'd you do that? What'd y'all do? How did Justin says y'all do? The worst thing was when Justin played for us. Justin would tell him every play we put in. Hey Walt, how did this go? And, Mike, I got a recruit calling. Let me call you. But he's awesome, and I think he's great for the community. And I think Madison Central is lucky to have him. That's no disrespect to anybody that's been there.
Yeah.
I've known every coach since I'm trying to think. I guess 97. That would have been the guy at Georgetown.
I was going to say that's before Brown.
Bert Brown was there for a little bit. Obviously, Coach Centers.
Golly, I feel like an old man right now. It just blew my mind. They get Georgetown College. Anyway,
if we hadn't asked you to put you on the spot, you'd be able to talk.
Yeah, but he had all those. He had Derek White, Chris Minter, all those dudes that came over and played for us. So I'm excited, for the community. I think we've got really good coaches at all 3 schools in this community, and I think Mike was a great pickup, and appreciate the job he does. And we're going to have a big 7-on-7 tournament this weekend coming up. We probably got, we'll probably have, I think they said today, 48 high school teams.
Oh, wow. On your campus? Okay.
On campus. And that'll be 7-on-7 teams, and probably have about 35 to 40 big man challenge teams.
Okay.
And so it's all varsity teams, and we've got the local food trucks coming out. We'll probably have, we can't use the stadium, but we'll and hopefully it won't rain, and we're makeshift, and hoping that practice fields are done and all this stuff. We got a lot to do between now and Saturday, but we're fired up about what we're doing there, and we'll probably have 2,000-3,000 people on campus. So
wow!
We're
and
fired
that's what
up
you
about
want.
it.
Those are the kids you want.
And
to recruit.
We're going to see some that we can, maybe not get, and some that we can get, and this, that, and the other. But more importantly, there's going to be how many parents and brothers and sisters and
that could go to
and
EKU.
kids that may not be able to play football that want to get an eye opening to Richmond and EKU and want to come to school there. So
have the experience.
And just be like, man, this is a pretty cool place. They see all the new stuff going on campus. I just think it's a great deal, and I appreciate Mike. He's I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, so.
We won't tell on.
Yeah, of course.
I want to know real quick before we let you go. Sunday at your kitchen table, I can't imagine, between Friday night football and then Saturday night football, Sunday. Does your wife ever go, we're going to have dinner tonight, no football talk?
Well, here's the deal on Sunday. During the season, we don't eat Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm usually in the office, but Thursday night is our family night.
Okay.
All right. And we started this tradition. Oh gosh, I can't tell you. My daughter's 21 now, so she's probably 2 or 3, and I think we started it here. We go to any Mexican restaurant. We call it Mexican Thursday, and we go to Mexican restaurant and we eat, and we talk about the week. We talk about everything. Maybe a hair about the schedule, like, hey, I'm leaving.
Right.
But other
than
that, it's all about the kids. It's all about my wife, and we have a good time, and it's a great meal for us and great bonding time, and because we spend a lot of time away from our family. But I try to have an atmosphere where every kid, that's a coach's kid, can be in the office and be on the field and be where they need to be, so they can see their dad. And I'm not one of these that's going to stay up here till midnight. I just don't. With all the technology we got today, we can get stuff done quicker than what we did back in the day.
And Coach, do it at home even.
Well, and that's the way Coach Kidd was. I mean, he'd come in, turn the lights on, and say, well, boys, in the end, it all comes down to blocking and tackling and recruiting. And he's really, he's dead on that. There's some other things that you got to do, and he knows that. But in the end, those are what's most important. So that's what it is.
And then he'd introduce them to Sue.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she'd handle everything
well, then
else.
she's the boss. I mean, let's just call it like it is. She taught my wife how to be a coach's wife, and
that's right. Learn from the best.
And she is what a great person. What a great family. I mean, just so indebted to them for everything they've done for me and my family, and how they brought us along and taught us a lot of different things. And then the example he set, for a community. It ain't like that anymore in this game today. I get it. It's hard to find anybody that can come somewhere and stay, 40-some-odd years that he stayed.
Right.
But
and the success that he had. Because he could have left anytime he wanted to.
He could have left
10
a couple
years
of
really
times.
Is a long time.
Yeah. Oh, it's like I told somebody, my first 3 jobs were 19 years. And then I've had 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 ever since. And I've been in it. It's going on 26. So, it's hard to do that. And for what they've done for this community, I know people know that, but it just, it's really strong.
Never said enough.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on as always. Would love to have you come back over before the season starts and kind of give us an update before that first game, maybe, and folks
tell
get
us
out
about
there.
This tournament this weekend.
Get out there and support EKU football. Tickets are on sale now. Go to EKUsports.com and get yours. Whether it's a season ticket, a one-game ticket, there's plenty of them available.
$6.50.
Yeah, that's
for one ticket.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Cheaper than a movie.
Yeah,
that's
cheaper than Fast and Furious.
There you go. There you go. And probably a lot better too, because it won't be
and
as
even a great date night. You
there
can bring
you go.
Now there's a date night.
Yeah, we can bring the kids to that.
That's
it won't be as bad.
Family.
Let them go on the hill and have a good time.
All right, Coach. Thanks for coming over with us. Time for another
Appreciate y'all.
commercial break, folks. Mackenzie Neal will be on with us when we come back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Hey, why aren't you watching these 30-second walk-arounds?
and in the spring of 1992, Bishop's Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Cub Cadet, Grasshopper, EKU, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop's Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see ya.
Support your favorite team with apparel from Campus Warehouse in Richmond. Whether you're an EKU fan or you're a part of the Big Blue Nation, Campus Warehouse has something for you. Stop by and see their new line of Old Road t-shirts, because guys, we know Saturdays are for the boys. Plus, they have the cutest seasonal tees for the ladies. And Campus Warehouse now carries a new line of tees for the kiddos as well. Visit campuswarehouserichmond.com or stop by their location in the Richmond Center next to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show at Jack Burford Chevrolet. Appreciate Coach Walt Wells coming on here with us, Samantha. Now we have Mackenzie Neal. We go from football to golf. And I didn't want to ask Mackenzie how old she thought I was, because last week Maddie Jo hurt my feelings pretty bad when she guessed my age. But I know Mackenzie a little bit outside of the sports world too. But Mackenzie, I mean, it's been a busy day for you. Samantha, you all were talking about playing before you came up here today.
No, I didn't play.
She did, yeah.
I was gonna say.
So talk about that. I mean, the scenario in which you had to play golf today before you could come up here.
So we were having our team fundraiser scramble for Morehead men's and women's golf today at Greenbrier, and originally I was just supposed to help, maybe do like a drive on each hole for each one of the teams or something to kind of help them out a little bit, but somebody's fourth ended up not showing, so I ended up getting put on a team with one of Coach's former players and her husband, and then one of the high school kids that plays at Elliott County, where both of them coach now. So that was really fun. We had a good time and got to talk a lot about Morehead and golf. They both played golf at Morehead.
Okay. So a little bit of history there then.
Yeah.
And I bet you always have your clubs in your vehicle, right?
I do. The
Yeah,
club,
so it's like, oh yeah, I can play.
they pretty much stay in the trunk. Yeah, they don't get taken out much.
Well, you're coming off an off season, so talk about what that's been like as we're gearing up for the upcoming season, your junior year, and what it's been like. Just what have you been doing during the off season in between, your sophomore year, which was fantastic, by the way, into coming into your junior year.
So I kind of like to take the summer and make it a good balance of still playing enough tournaments to stay in shape, but not overdoing it, because we do play in the fall and in the spring.
Yeah.
So, most sports have an on-season and off-season. They don't play in the fall and the spring, but we play a pretty full schedule both semesters.
Wow.
So I usually try to keep it to about 4 tournaments in the summer. I used to play a lot more when I was a junior and trying to get recruited, because we only played in the fall in high school. So we didn't even get started until April or May usually. But now about 4 tournaments, usually try to do a little bit bigger tournament, maybe that's a little bit further away, and then a couple that are a little bit closer, play on courses I already know with the girls I used to play high school golf with. That's always fun, because we don't get to see each other a lot when we all go to different colleges.
And there's been some really good golfers come out of Madison Central. We had Maddie Jo on with us last week, and then the Reagan girl was pretty good too. So is that some of your teammates that you keep up with?
Yeah, so like Maddie Jo and I play in a lot of the same tournaments, and now even Elizabeth Everly and Claire Beth Ramsey, who are still at Central, they're playing in a lot of those tournaments because they've gotten older and a lot better now. And then a lot of the girls that were in our region or maybe went to high schools that we played with a lot. That
and played against.
Yes, played against, because now, some of us are at Morehead, some of us are at Eastern, a couple of girls are at Middle Tennessee, Western, so we're kind of all over, and we don't play all the same tournaments.
Yeah.
Every now and then we'll see each other at college tournaments, and that's always fun. We really like that. But, I had a caddy for a tournament I played a couple weeks ago, and pretty much all my friends were there. And he just looked at me when we were about to tee off, because we had just come from the practice facility, and he's like, do you just know everybody here? Because, we're all so excited to see each other, and everybody knows everybody. So it's a nice change of pace.
Right.
I definitely prefer college tournaments and, the team aspect of things.
Yeah.
That's what I love the most. But it is really fun during the summer to get to see some people that I don't get to see very much anymore.
Well, let's talk about last year's schedule. You did exactly what we hope for every athlete. You just kept getting better and better. You had your best two, scores, is what you call it. You had your best two tournaments at the very end of the season.
Yeah, so it's always pretty interesting starting the spring season, because we start playing the first week of February.
Yeah, it's cold.
We even start a couple weeks earlier than a lot of other teams do, but there's a tournament in particular that Coach really likes in Florida that's the very first week of February. I'm talking February 2nd through 4th or something like that.
Well, February in Florida is a lot different than February here in Kentucky.
Yes, so we get down there and the weather's great, but the problem is we've been practicing indoors for 3 months, and hitting balls and chipping and putting inside isn't quite like playing full rounds of golf outside in tournaments. So I played pretty good the first tournament of the season. I got OVC Golfer of the Week that week, because everybody's trying to knock rust off. It's not just me. Pretty much everybody other than Florida Gulf Coast is knocking rust off. But we played a lot of tournaments this spring since we didn't get to play in the fall. So there was never really a lot of downtime, which even though it gets busy, it gets really nice because you get in that rhythm of playing tournament golf, and the nerves kind of get dialed down a bit and you feel comfortable, and then the weather starts to get nicer and all those kind of things. So a lot of time on the road gets hard, but it does give you really good momentum. And that's how I felt going into the last couple tournaments of the season, even though, conference didn't go exactly how I wanted it to go, but still from my first conference tournament, since we didn't get to play conference my freshman year, I was pretty satisfied. Had 2 pretty good rounds in there, one that, put me back a little bit. But, yeah, it was a pretty good season overall.
Well, it must have been because you were named All-OVC as a sophomore. Let's talk about that and what that was like.
So I was named to the newcomer team my freshman year. Even though things were cut short, they still made a decision on the team and everything. And so I knew that once I did that my freshman year, it was a goal of mine to make the All-OVC team the other 3 years that I was going to be there. And when I was in high school, they do a similar system. They do all-state rankings. And it's the same thing. It's a cumulative ranking over the course of the season.
Yeah.
So while, everybody wants to win tournaments and get in playoffs and make big putts and do all those fun things, it's always been really important to me, all those kind of all-conference team sort of things, because I did that all 4 years of high school.
Consistency.
And I think that kind of goes back to what I've always focused on as a player, hole by hole, round by round, week by week. I don't like to be streaky.
Yeah.
It can be fun at times, but I like to be consistent, and you're always right there, and if you just keep giving yourself chances, eventually you're going to have that really big moment. But it's always been really important to me that I consistently put in the work to be in those positions on a regular basis. And, I think it does show. And to me, that means more than an individual good round or a singular good round. And it means that if I'm playing good enough to make the all-conference team, it means I've played well enough all season to contribute to my team almost every single round.
Yeah.
And that's really important to me, that even if I don't have the best round of the day for our team, hopefully I don't have the worst. I kind of want to always be that person that they know is going to post a pretty good number that they can count on. And I think, you know, coaches come to expect that of me, and I've come to expect that of myself. And, you know, we have a couple girls that are really good players that have the potential to go really low, but then every now and then they have one of those, you know, kind of those 80s numbers, you know, that you don't want to have to count toward the team total. And I like to be that person that, you know, because everybody has a bad day.
Yeah.
And you never want to be
Samantha never does, though.
You never want to be the person that has a bad day, because then it sucks,
right?
To be quite honest, when you feel like you're letting your whole team down. And so, you know, it's good that we can kind of pick each other up and know that we can count on each other. So that consistency is really important to me, because I know my team has kind of come to expect it and feels like they can count on it, and that's really important to me. So it's definitely something I want to try to keep up the next couple seasons.
You were second on the team in stroke average. You notched 4 top 25 finishes, and again, that just goes back to that consistency factor that you were just talking about. So,
you know what she is? She's any golf coach's dream.
Oh, yeah.
That's a dream player.
Yeah, the confidence and the leadership, too, I mean, that she's talking about. And I think a lot of that comes from your dad. Your dad was your coach. Do you all still play pretty frequently when you're back home?
Yeah, we play together a lot when I'm home, and we got to play a lot during the COVID break or whatever you want to call it. And
because it was the only person you could be with.
And golf was the only thing you could do, really.
Right. Outdoor.
Because the golf course we live at Boone's Trace, they were pretty much one of the only golf courses in Richmond and in Lexington that didn't close down at some point, because they're not owned by the county or the city or a university. So they're kind of make their own rules. And so Dad and I got to play a lot during that time period, and it was really fun, because when I'm at school, you know, we don't get to play together a lot, whereas we used to do that all the time when I was in high school. And you know, he doesn't always think it's so fun when I beat him.
That was my next question. Who wins the most?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some friendly rivalry.
Yeah, you answered that for us there.
He likes to go to Gibson Bay, because I don't like Gibson Bay very much, and he loves Gibson Bay because it's where he really started playing golf, other than the golf course in Estill County.
And he thinks he can beat you there.
He did. The last time we played there, he beat me. So that's where he always wants to go there. He doesn't ever want to play me at home, because you know, I have more time on my hands to practice than he does, especially during the summer. And I pretty much play at home every single day. So it's just, I play the best there. I know every little nook and cranny of the golf course and break of the green. So he definitely doesn't like when I beat him, but he loves when we get to play together. Right. And I do too. It's really special, because we used to do it all the time, and it's just few and far between when I'm in school, because we're just so busy.
Well, it's probably he's like, okay, which way is this green sloping? Like, can you help me? Do you help him? Or do you get
No, it's a competition. You can't help.
No, I do try, but he doesn't like my advice very much.
Yeah.
Dad and I play very different types of golf. I'm a little more conservative, like we talked about, steady, consistent, whatever. Yeah. That's not Dad.
Going for the home run, right?
Right, and he does sometimes. You know, he's that guy that, you know, in a scramble or something, you'll really need a putt, and he'll run it in, or he'll hit a really big drive and drive the green. So he doesn't always like my conservative. Right. He says I play boring golf. That's what he says.
Okay. Hey, listen, slow and steady wins the race a lot of the times, you know.
Slow and steady. Well, let's talk about this award you just won recently, the Coaches Award for the All-Scholar. How exciting is that? So she's not only an athlete, but she's very smart.
Does she need another trophy case? It sounds like she needs another trophy case at home.
So that is the Coaches Association, the scholars. I'm pretty sure it's a 3.5 GPA that you have to have as a cumulative GPA through your college career. And then I believe you have to have played in 75% of your team's competitive events. So, you know, there's several girls on our team that have a perfect 4.0, but maybe they didn't quite make the lineup for all the tournaments this season, so they didn't get it, even though they have a really good GPA. And I think pretty much everybody that played regularly in our top 5 got it, because Coach holds us to pretty high academic standards. She doesn't matter how good we're doing on the golf course if we don't keep the grades up. She always says we're a student first and an athlete second, and so that's really important to her. So we pretty much always have like the highest team GPA on campus for the athletic programs.
She's cracking the whip.
Oh, yeah. Which is good. I mean, that's one thing we've seen
That's
consistently with all the people from EKU as well. You know, having that student-first mentality is especially important for the coaches to have, because that allows you all to kind of focus on that and then fall back into your sport afterwards. So.
Absolutely. And I think we all hold each other accountable, too. It's not just coach. You know, several of my teammates and I are the same major. We have classes together, and we're always at the library together or
that's good.
Studying in our dorm. So that makes it a lot easier, too. It's not like we have some girls on the team that take school seriously and then some that don't. You know, everybody really does their part in the team GPA and holding each other accountable on and off the golf course. So I think that makes those kind of things a lot easier.
So what is your major?
Yeah,
that's what you were going to ask?
Yeah.
So I'm a biomedical sciences major.
Can't even spell that, so that's got to be tough. That's got to be. Is that hard?
Of course.
Yeah, just saying it is hard, so I can't imagine the classes you have to go through.
Yeah, what do you have? Lots of biology.
Lots of biology, lots of chemistry, lots of physics. I got most of my math in high school, but a few math classes. But for me, like, that's what I love. For me, taking a bunch of communications classes or marketing classes or art classes, that would be difficult. You know, science and math is
easy.
Kind of what comes naturally to me. And I put a lot of time into school. I did when I was in high school, and I do now when I'm in college. So that makes it a little bit easier. But I start organic chemistry in the fall. So that's the one I made it through 2 semesters of physics with an A in both, and I really hated physics, so I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
But now I'm really nervous about organic. I told my academic advisor I was not doing both at the same time. It was not happening.
I don't blame you. Tell us where you're going next. Like, what's happening next for you before we have to close the show out?
So the plan is to go to medical school and get into pathology as a concentration. But a lot of people say that once you get to medical school, you never end up with the specialty you thought you were. Yeah. So who knows what specialty I'll end up with. But medical school is definitely the plan right now. Starting to try to get some shadowing hours and volunteer hours now that things are finally starting to open back up a little bit. Yeah. Because, you know, with COVID for a long time, I mean, medical facilities were shut down. Nobody in and nobody out that was not essential, which is completely understandable. Mm-hmm. But kind of trying to play catch up on some of those, you know, extracurricular hours that they look for on applications, and start studying for the MCAT and get the application ready so that hopefully after 4 years at Morehead, I'll be ready for medical
school. The real world.
Did you go to the Barbasol this past weekend? I know it was a big deal, and Seamus Powers bringing that title home. Were you there for that, any?
I was not. We had our member guest at home this weekend, so I actually didn't play. I thought I was going to be out of town, then I was in town, and so I didn't end up playing, but I worked that a couple days and then watched my dad and watched them some and everything. So that was a pretty long weekend at home. I wish it hadn't fallen on the Barbasol weekend, because I always love to get, and I didn't get to go to the qualifier either that's at Boone's Trace because I was in Florida, so it just didn't quite work out this year. But I did watch the end of the playoff because it was 6 holes. Yeah.
6 holes.
Those are nerve-wracking. So for them to have some of those really big moments that they did, it's really cool to watch.
So when does your season start? Real quick, before we have to go off the air.
So we have kind of a kickoff match for the beginning of the season, the last Sunday in August. We're playing at Boone's Trace, where I live.
Yeah, so you're going to do...
She should do good. Don't put that pressure on her, Samantha.
I'm waiting for you, Mackenzie.
And then we have, I believe it's 4 tournaments after that that'll kind of go from the very beginning of September to the end of October. The fall is a little bit of a quicker season because then you have Thanksgiving break and Christmas break. You know, things get cut a little bit shorter than they do in the spring.
And it starts getting colder outside.
It does, but we still try to fit in usually 4 or 5 tournaments in the fall to make sure we're really ready for the spring.
That's Mackenzie Neal entering her junior season at
that I cannot
Morehead
believe.
State.
Already a junior.
I remember when me and Morgan first got together, Mackenzie running around, and her sister's the age as she was whenever I first came around hanging out with her.
Does your sister golf?
No, she's at the beach right now. Why aren't you at the beach with her? Just too much golf going on?
Yeah, I'm leaving on Wednesday morning with Tristan Nowlin. We're going to go play in the Tennessee Women's Open. We're going to make the trip together. So
we're having her on the show.
Yep, she'll be here next Monday, so that'll be fun.
Hopefully she'll be coming off a win in
big
Tennessee.
win.
Yes.
And she'll tell us how you did. So that'll be great.
Absolutely.
Well, Mackenzie, thank you for coming over with us, and thanks.
They're so busy right now.
Oh yeah,
so
just trying to squeeze them in. And we had to move her around. She was going to come on last Monday. We got kind of booked up, and thanks to her for kind of shifting her schedule around to come on with us. Thanks for Walt Wells for coming over with us as well, and looking forward to keeping up with you in your junior year, Mackenzie.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You'll have a good rest of the week. Lots more to come up here on WBON TV. But for us, we are off the air now. As for Samantha Burford and our producer, Gage Hill, I'm Michael Watkins. We'll see you next Monday on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.